Hello, can anyone hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Can anyone hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me? Right, I think. If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Well, let me just check something here. Can anyone hear me? Right, tonight's discussion here, we will carry on, I think, with today's news, the current affairs in Zimbabwe at the moment. Right, thank you for your confirmation. Right, we are broadcasting live from Birmingham in the UK. Today, I think we've had like on the spot earlier on, where we rounded up the current affairs, state of affairs in Zimbabwe. So tonight on this program, Behind the Mic, we will go deeper into the issues that are currently, going on back home in Zimbabwe. For those who are online, I've put a link on right in the comment section. If you want to contribute, you can just click that link, then I'll be able to get a connection to you so that you can contribute. It's an open discussion tonight. So there's a link that I've put in the comment section. So just click that link, then right. Let me just right. If you click that link, then it should be able to take you to to me, so that we can connect you if you really want to make a contribution to this one. So right, first of all, obviously what's going on in Zimbabwe at the moment, we've got some news going on, current arrests. I think we've had quite a few of the arrests, especially this week and last week, following the revelations of corruption in Zimbabwe. Right. So in today's news, we're gonna touch on a few of the topics actually that's currently trending in Zimbabwe, especially with the regards to the arrest of like prominent people in Zimbabwe. So first of all, we've got we all know that Hope Chimono was arrested, and he is still in detention. So we have heard that the bail hearing today, it did not finish because apparently the magistrates and the prosecutors, they said that because of the curfew in Zimbabwe, they needed to to abide by the COVID regulations because of the curfew. So actually, from what we are hearing, his bail application will continue. It will continue tomorrow. Hopefully they'll be able to to have a full hearing of that bail application. So currently Mr. Chingono, he's still in detention. He's been sent back to prison. We've got some images here that I'm gonna show you right now. Right, if you can see there, that's Hope Chingono in handcuffs. He's been sent back to prison so that the bail application will continue this Friday. Hopefully we will be able to to get the latest details on what will really be happening behind the scenes. So for those who don't know what's happening, how or what's the charge relating to Mr. Chingono, to Hopo, is that he's facing a charge of inciting or to commit violence by calling for a nationwide protest. Right. So this is the charge. So it's like an incitement to violence charge that he is facing. They are saying that he committed this offense because he's advocating for for a nationwide protest, and I don't know how they are gonna charge him, because it seems that there's no evidence at all against Mr. Chingono. We could hear from his legal representatives, from Beatrice Mtetwa in Zimbabwe, and we understand that the magistrate who is presiding over this case is called Ngoni Nduna, who is the magistrate presiding over this case. So we'll just wait for the outcome of this bail hearing tomorrow, which we will understand probably should be done by tomorrow, so that we know what's going to be the outcome. Then we also have the issue of right. Let me go back to this one. Should have been the first on the list. The mayor of Harare, mayor of Harare was also arrested. Herbert Kobai was arrested last night. Right, that's the other image for the mayor of Harare, who was arrested last night, and they are alleging that he's been implicated in a land scandal. And he also spent another night in state custody as we speak. I think he's also been remanded because his bail hearing, it failed to kick off today, so he's been remanded in custody. So we don't really know. I think his bail hearing will also be held tomorrow if everything is in place, because the state is alleging that these are the charges from the state. They are alleging that the mayor illegally parceled out land for houses to a housing cooperative called Taringan Housing Scheme. So they are alleging that he did the scandal involved parceling out land, which also has got an issue with I think the environmental protection agents, because it seems like it's a wetland. So right, so as we understand, with regards to the mayor, he was arrested by well over 20 policemen, right? Well over 20 policemen who couldn't identify themselves except for one. So as I've stated, that the bail application is expected tomorrow, and the state, from what we understand, what we gather, they are going to oppose bail, because for various reasons, whatever reason they are gonna put forward, they are gonna oppose bail. Then the third issue is for Jacob Ngaruvume, who was also denied bail. Jacob Ngaruvume was actually arrested the same time when Hopo Chingono was arrested. So he was also denied bail, and he's been remanded in custody to the 6th of August in 2020. So it's like they are saying that they are not gonna release him until at least after this the issue of the 31st July protest is over. So we can see that there's kind of a systematic plan to arrest people who are innocent. And on the picture they have just put Obadiah Mpofu, who was accused of corruption, and is also on the RBZ looters list, where quite a lot of these NPF people and the clergymen, they were given loans amounting to millions, and they haven't paid back those loans. But the irony that strikes me here is, you see, the one who exposed the corruption is the one who is being victimized by the state, but the one who who looted funds is walking free, and there's nothing that's being done about it. So unfortunately, the state of affairs in Zimbabwe is somehow amazing, because we all know that we don't want a corrupt country, but once you speak against the state, it is always you always be arrested or victimized, right? So the truth of the matter in this case is that you can actually see that there is a systematic kind of victimization of people, who speak out against the state. Right. Then the other fourth issue that we have here tonight is, we understand that there are some MDC Alliance MPs who were recently expelled from from Parliament. So we are gathering information that these MPs, they are set to lose their vehicles because these vehicles were acquired through the Parliament's loan scheme. So they are going to lose their vehicles because they were recently expelled from Parliament. So this is one of the highlights of today's current affairs issues that are happening in Zimbabwe. And we've got on record some reckless utterances from our dear Chris Mutsvangwa. He has announced saying that the 31st July demonstration will not happen. They're actually sticking to their guns to say that this demonstration will not happen at all. And he has actually gone, excuse me, further to accuse the organizers of the demonstration of planning to remove the government and through unconstitutional means. So this is like a kind of a serious accusation that has been made by Chris Mutsvangwa, who is also part of the looters in the ZANU-PF regime. Also, we've got it on record that he also failed to pay his loan from the RBZ scheme, which the farm mechanization scheme, which most of these top people, they benefited, and they've never paid back any penny, including the church bishops, Mutendi, also Ezekiel Guti, and other clergymen. They also benefited from this. I think we discussed this yesterday, and this is the current state of affairs in Zimbabwe as we speak, right? When Chris Mutsvangwa made his statement, he actually further accused Chamisa of trying to, to remove the government. I don't know where Chamisa comes in this demonstration, because first of all, this demonstration was not even called on by President Chamisa. So I don't know where Chamisa is coming into this equation. And he has also promised that, Chris Mutsvangwa has also promised that the demonstration, if it actually goes ahead, it will be met with total resistance. So you can see that these people, they are actually preparing. They're actually preparing to cause havoc. They obviously they use the state machinery to to prevent this demonstration, because these utterances from Chris Mutsvangwa, we are sure that they will carry out their objectives of trying to destabilize this demonstration, which is actually scheduled for the 31st of July, in a few days, time. And they've actually arrested opposition people who are supposed to lead this demonstration. In the case of Jacob Ngarivume, and the corruption issues brought out by Hopo Chungono, and now today they arrested MD's Alliance Mayor Herbert Gomba, who is the mayor of Harare, and all these people, they are in custody. They are all in custody, and it looks like it's kind of a mechanism just to try to weaken the people, so that they feel hopeless in this kind of situation. We understand that the things in Zimbabwe, they are really hard for everyone. The people are struggling to survive, and aid on top the COVID crisis, we can actually see that the situation is not good at all. So right now, so we are going to discuss in detail what you think could be the motive behind this arrest. If you want to make a contribution, I've put the link on there. If you click that link, obviously it will direct you to me, then we can put you into the program. Or alternatively, you can actually post your comment on the comment section, then we can actually pin it or read it if you if you want to contribute. But right now, as we are discussing these current issues, you know, we have just highlighted that the bail application for Opochungon could not go ahead because they are alleging that you know, the curfew, they couldn't carry on the deliberations of the bail hearing, so they had to leave it at that stage. And then Mr. Chingon was sent back to prison. And as we understand, he is facing charges of incitement to commit violence by calling for a national protest, of which Mr. Chingon, he is denying these allegations. He is denying these allegations. So we want to discuss further to see, are we really, is Zimbabwe a police state now, or you know, a military kind of state? Please feel free to put your comments. We can pin your comment, then we can discuss what you think is really happening right now in Zimbabwe in light of these you know, these arrests of mostly people who are aligned with the opposition. So we want to hear your views. Right, it seems my camera here is frozen at the moment. I don't know if you can see it from your side. Right, and yeah, as I said, that it's kind of a systematic kind of strategy here, because you see all these people who were arrested, they've been denied bail, and they've been sent back um to prison, to remand prison. So we want to hear your views. Viewers, thank you for joining us, and if you have any contribution to make tonight on Behind the Mic, we are discussing these current issues, current events happening in Zimbabwe right now, with the arrest of mostly opposition and human rights activists in Zimbabwe, you know, with some of the serious charges that you know, that are being leveled against them. Right, if you want to comment or contribute, you are free to do so. Right, I don't know why my camera looks like it's frozen here. Let me just see what's really going on. Right, but you are free to contribute. At the moment we just take a short break while we're gonna discuss further. Right, right, we're gonna take a short break of right. Thank you for tuning in back. Unfortunately, I don't know what's happened to my camera here. As we have been discussing, right, this is Behind the Mic, right, we're broadcasting live from Birmingham in the UK. So we have run through some of the issues that are happening in Zimbabwe. So we want to hear your contributions with regards to what's really happening in Zimbabwe, the arrest of journalists, the arrest of political leaders, opposition leaders, and also the arrest of the mayor of Harare, who is also um, from the MDC Alliance ticket. So we can actually see that the arrests, they are kind of politically motivated from what I can understand. This is only my own opinion. They are kind of timed and politically motivated. So feel free to contribute your thoughts on this subject. We can post a comment. You can actually click the link on the screen so that if you want to join, you can make your contribution. You are free to do that. So tonight, behind the mic, we've got these issues of the current state of affairs in Zimbabwe. Right. So we want to hear from you what you think is really happening in Zimbabwe. Is it like a genuine, like are they genuine issues of people being arrested, or there is something behind these arrests? We just want to hear from your contributions, what you think, what you really think about what's going on in Zimbabwe. If Zimbabwe become a police state or a military state where people, they don't have any rights or to a free democratic environment where they can air their views, where can they they can exercise their democratic rights. If you want to contribute, we are free to that. You can post your comment, you can you can contribute, right? Especially what boggles the mind is actually these arrests, they seem to be politically motivated. They seem to be politically motivated because ever since the Jacob Ngarifume called on for the 31st July protests, you see, it looks like the government went into a panic mode, to try to destabilize the situation, because from what we understand now, the president, he went on to provide further COVID regulations, COVID-19 regulations, in which he also imposed a curfew from, I think, from 6 a.m. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. the following morning, where he said that the army and the police will be actually deployed on the streets to maintain peace and order. But from my own perspective, it looks like he is hiding behind COVID-19 crisis just to further his iron fist rule in Zimbabwe by denying people the right to democratic and fundamental human rights, which should be, because those rights, they are enshrined in the constitution of Zimbabwe. So if someone cannot exercise their democratic rights, which are enshrined in the constitution, then there's no point for that constitution to be there in the first place. Because if the constitution says that you've got a democratic right to protest, then the state, they said, no, you cannot do that. But we've seen time and again where they give favors to ZANU-PF, or people who are aligned to ZANU-PF. So it's actually really surprising, to say that because of COVID, if they've got the enough resources to beat people around, they should allow the demonstration, at least that people, they can maintain the the social distancing rules, they can maintain whatever the conditions of that demonstration. But from what we have heard from the likes of Chris Mtswanga, they are saying that the demonstration is gonna likely tend to be violent. How do they know that? People, they've got a right to demonstrate, they've got a right to be heard, they've got a right, to their fundamental freedoms is enshrined in the constitution. So if someone just assumes to say that the demonstration is going to be violent, how do you know that it's going to be violent? You see, so it's something very, 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 very amazing. It's really surprising, it's really surprising. If it was a ZANU-PF, demonstration, right? If it was a ZANU-PF demonstration, I think they would have given the go ahead of it to go ahead. But there's a comment from Promise Berry. It says that, of course, what is happening, that's what is happening in Zimbabwe. COVID, right? That's very true. We've seen even images. I've seen some images. I think people at Market Square in waiting for the buses. They were also waiting for transport to go home, but there was not even social distancing at all, and with hundreds and hundreds of people gathering to try to go home. And from what I've heard also this evening, they said that, like, at the charge office, people were being beaten by police. They were being dispersed by the police, and some of the people, I think they ended up going home on foot, like people who live in Chitungwiza, because they were dispersed by the police, that they cannot get their transport back home. So you can actually see how the state it's compromised. Everything is compromised. The judiciary is captured, the security services are captured, everything is captured in Zimbabwe. So it's a really difficult situation at this time, especially, as I've always said, that we're having like 95% of people not working in Zimbabwe, and people, they need to survive. Then they are being oppressed by this regime, so that they cannot say anything or they cannot do anything. It's really, really, heartbreaking, because people are really struggling. People are really, really struggling. If you look at the RBZ looters list that we published 2 days ago, I think it's still there on our Facebook page. You can see how these people benefited from this scheme, where they looted thousands, hundreds, and thousands, and the amount runs into millions. Most of them, you could see the names of all those people who were there. They are more of ZANU-PF sympathizers or affiliated to ZANU-PF, or some of them, they were like families, actually, the whole families, benefiting from this from the farm mechanization scheme, of which we are actually not seeing anything at all. We don't even see the production, the farms being productive, because at the end of the day, the so-called government, they end up buying maize from Zambia or other countries just to feed the nation. Yet they claim to say that they've got the farms which they give to people, or land which they give to people, but the land is not even being utilized. So it's become kind of a trend where, if someone speaks against the government, right, if someone speaks against the government, they are going to be arrested, and that's for sure. Their crime is only to speak about what's not going well, what's not being done well by the government, whether it's pure government policy or their scorched earth policies. People can get arrested for that. But how long will people suffer under this current regime, which actually oppresses people day after day? We've got quite a lot of people in South Africa, at least 3 million Zimbabweans living in South Africa, which, most of them, they wish to be back home, but they cannot. And people are dying across the border and coming back in coffins. So it's a really, really difficult situation that's really happening in Zimbabwe, especially the arrest of people who are innocent, and the arrest of Hope Chingono, the arrest of Jacob Ngaruvu, maybe even the MPs or other people, who've been victimized before. It's, it actually shows that it's now a police state or a military state where you don't have any power, you don't have any rights to say anything. It's really, really heartbreaking. So if you wish to contribute on your thoughts about what's really happening in Zimbabwe, or if you think that, this is now a military state or a police state, please feel free to contribute so that at least some other people, they can actually also see your comment and understand your point of view. Right. Let me just show this comment again from Promise Berry, which is saying the only problem yakaitika neJM 31 is that it was too much notice time yakapiwa, zvaitoda kuti kisa, zvaitoda kuti, right, mangwana munhu wese muroad, so they don't get time to prepare themselves. Right. What Promise Berry is saying that, because if you give this regime to say that we want to hold this demonstration, right, these people, they've got their own strategies. They can just try to throw in all the spanners to make sure that it doesn't happen. How many times have we seen like demonstrations being done by the opposition? They are not given police clearance at all. They are not given police clearance. They are just banned to say people would turn violent. But if those are the demonstrations are coming from a ZANU-PF side, they are given a go ahead. So probably it will have been better, this one, to say, the point being raised by my brother Promise here, to say that it's sometimes better let's just get on with it without like a notice, because if given the notice, obviously they will say no. They will try to find ways and means to avoid the demonstration. Even if there was no COVID at all, I'm pretty sure that they were trying to find ways just to destabilize the protest. Is I have already mentioned what Chris Mtswangwa said. I'll say it again here. He said that the 31st demonstration will not happen. Right, this is Chris Mtswangwa. He said the 31st July demonstration will not happen, and he's accusing the organizers of the demonstration of planning to remove the government unconstitutionally. Right. What's amazing is that it seems like he knows already what's going to happen on the 31st of July. He's actually accusing the organizers of trying to topple the government unconstitutionally. Yet, from the video that we have seen that was done by Jacob Ngaruvu, there's nothing like toppling the government unconstitutionally. It's just, he was just like, stating the fact to say that people, they've got a right to demonstration because things are not well in Zimbabwe. You can see the prices, they are going up. The money, it doesn't have any value. Everything is becoming hard on a daily basis, especially for the people who are in Zimbabwe. And mind you, whatever happens in Zimbabwe, it also affects the people who are in the diaspora. It also affects, because at the end of the day, we people who are in the diaspora, we are the ones who will feel the pressure. We are the ones who will feel the pressure. So sometimes it's really difficult, because if there's a crisis back home, they will always call people in the diaspora to say, look, things are hard here. We need money, we need this. So at the end of the day, there's no point where we have to leave people suffering. We have to run around, if it's sending money or if it's sending, money for medication or anything, you see, because the state of the nation at the moment is just terrible. It's just terrible. Nothing is functioning. We've seen loads of demonstrations, nurses, demonstrating, doctors, all the sectors, because they are feeling the heat, because they cannot survive. How can you tell me someone is surviving on a salary of equivalent to 35 US dollars a month. I don't know how people in Zimbabwe are managing on that, because $35 US dollars a month there, I don't know if it's enough even to buy a whole family grocery. Then you need money for transport. If you are going to the so-called work, you need food, right? That 35, I don't know how they are really surviving. I really don't have any idea on how people are surviving. But the the cries, they are coming out of Zimbabwe. They are saying, we are tired, we have had enough, and this government is not even prepared to listen to the people concerns at all. So this is a situation which needs addressing. I don't know till when will the people suffer through these human rights abuses. If the government cannot provide for its citizens, it's an abuse that will be taking place. We've seen these monetary policies by the finance minister Mutuli. They don't even work at all. How many times have they tried to print this useless money? Most of the times it doesn't even last, because it doesn't have value. It doesn't have value. It's just there on paper, but it doesn't really help anyone, because I don't think any investor would want to invest in Zimbabwe currently, considering what's happening, especially in terms of the the abuse of human rights abuses, and even the economic policies. No one would invest their money in a economic situation like that. They would rather keep their investments until such a time when they know that the situation is stable. But now, unfortunately, we are not going anywhere as a nation. And if this current regime continues on this path, I really don't know what will happen, because it seems like it's even worse than the previous predecessor. And it's really difficult. What I can say is that it's really difficult, because even in a democratic society, if there is a ruling party, they should at least work together with the opposition for the betterment of the economy. But in this case now, it's more of like looting all the time. They don't have any respect for for people's efforts. If you try to say something against the government, then you are handed, you are arrested, you are taken in the middle of the night, and probably in some cases you just disappear, without any trace, like the Itai Dzamara's case. Right now, no one knows what happened to him, and this is the kind of government that we have. But then at the end of the day, you have some people who say, things are okay. They actually in support of the current regime. And I really don't know on what basis would these people be thinking seriously, unless if they are beneficiaries, of this grand theft of natural resources, which will only benefit a few people. You hear all these things, all this nonsense, then you wonder what's wrong with these people. Why are they so brainwashed? And some of them, they are those people, but you see them saying, I really don't know where we are going as a country. But this is just my opinion. But from what I've discussed, like especially these arrests, you can actually see that they are politically motivated. And coupling with Chris Mutsvangwa's announcement to say that the accused, these accused who have been arrested, they are planning to remove the government unconstitutionally. This is probably what he's saying, that is something treasonous. But this is just a reckless utterance from the likes of Chris Mtswangwa. Obviously, he is benefiting from the current regime because obviously he's got a farm, he's got the loan that he also hasn't paid back, and so for him, they are, to me, they are just bootlickers. They are just bootlickers who don't care about the majority of people. They don't care about the majority of people. And why I'm saying that this is probably a politically motivated arrest, you can see that Mayor Gumba, right, he is the mayor of the city of Harare on an MDC alliance ticket, right? And as well, I've also mentioned that they've said that the expelled MDC Alliance MPs, they're going to take their cars away from them. Then you couple that with the arrest of opposition and the opposition leader Jacob Ngaruvume, you can see that they just want to destroy, the opposition politics in Zimbabwe. They just want to destroy, right? I'm gonna show this comment again from Promise Berry. He is saying that they support the regime, and right now and they are brainwashed. That's very true, because if you can think of it, the amount of land that we have in Zimbabwe, excuse me, we shouldn't even be buying maize from other countries like Zambia, or importing maize from other sources, because we've got enough land, to farm our own, then produce our own and feed the nation. But unfortunately, this farm mechanization program, most of them, like, were given tractors, they were given agricultural inputs, they were given, yes, these farms and other equipment. And guess what happened? They never used this equipment. Some of them, they even sold, like, these tractors, then the fertilizers and everything. And I remember a few years ago when Joseph Made was the Minister of Agriculture, when they raided his, I think his farm, they found like stacks and stacks of fertilizers that was at his farm, some tractors and stuff like that. So, as much as they may argue to say that this is the land redistribution program, it only benefited a few thieves who actually went on to sell the assets they were given, and still now they are refusing to pay back the loans. You see, and it's a long list of these looters. If you can check on our Facebook page, it's a long list running into millions and millions. But at the end of the day, then you hear them saying they are blaming sanctions. What sanctions are they talking about? Yet they are the one who are mismanaging the economy, who are stealing the national resources, who are abusing people, who are doing all sorts of mafia style kind of abuses, because me, I would rather see them as mafias. They are not, they are not leaders. Leaders, they don't do that. Leaders, they don't abuse people. Leaders, they listen to people. Leaders, they give people their democratic rights. Leaders, they respect the rule of law. Leaders, they don't interfere with the judiciary. Leaders, they don't interfere with any court outcomes, and to my surprise, on the list, quite a lot of those top judges, they are on the list, and they also benefited. So we are not going anywhere. We are going where we came from, as others say, right? Because how would you expect an impartial judgment from a judge who has been compromised by the state or by the government? You see, so it's kind of really difficult to know which way to go, because every direction you take, if you see the police, they are compromised. If you see the judiciary, they are compromised. The public sectors, each and every government department is compromised. The VID is compromised. everywhere it's compromised. So what do the citizens learn from there? They will always think that looting is the best way, because so people, they will end up following suit. So that, because ZANU-PF, what they've done, they've created a system, a very dangerous precedent, to say that you don't have to work hard, you just have to steal and move on, right? I'm gonna pin this comment by Promise as well. It says that the only way to remove ZANU-PF in power is by us going Musango, like they are claiming kuti vakarwa hondo. Ballot box, we will not remove this terrorist government. So that's a promise. That's a comment from Promise, where he's saying the only way to remove this regime is going back to war with them, because I actually watched this interview where there was Chris Mtswangwa and Tendai Biti, and it was said, because Chris Mtswangwa was saying sister takarwa hondo. It doesn't mean kuti kana vanhu vakarwa hondo then we have to abuse people all in the name of takarwa hondo. There are so many people who contributed in the liberation struggle. Vanamai vedu, vanasekuru vedu, vana sisi vedu, they all contributed, but it's only like benefiting a few people. Because if someone abuses someone in the name of saying takarwa hondo, it doesn't really make sense at all at the end of the day. Because kurwa hondo, then abusing people just because you fought the liberation struggle, it doesn't make any sense, which means that everyone else who contributed to that liberation struggle, they don't matter anymore. So that's what these people are saying with the takarwa hondo, so we should benefit from whatever. So they are not thinking about any other people. They are not thinking about the future of other people's children. They are not thinking about the future of the country. They are thinking about themselves only. So it's really surprising to see which direction we are taking, especially considering that we have been in this mess for quite a long time. Even the days of Robert Mugabe, people were still being abused, disappearing. We've got so many cases before, like the cases of Justina Mkoko, Wanarashwe Guja, all those people, so you can actually see that we are dealing with an entrenched kind of government which doesn't even care at all about its citizens. Because how many times have been people been abducted, beaten, left for dead, or even missing, and nothing has changed. So there needs to be some kind of strategy to deal with this, because otherwise is these guys, they don't see anyone like ruling Zimbabwe. They don't see anyone getting into power at all. So it will be up to the citizens to plan what they have to plan and do what they have to do to address this situation, because otherwise the situation will be the same, for so many years to come. Because they've tried elections, from my own understanding. This is my own understanding. ZANU-PF, they've been losing elections since 2000. They've been losing each and every election. But look, this is more than 20 years, right? This is actually 20 years, and they are still there. So, as I said, this is more like a military state. This is more like a police state, where if you say something, even if it makes sense, you will be arrested for that. And I don't know why some of these because we can see most of these policemen, they are struggling themselves. They are struggling a lot. They are struggling. Anything, they can also be proud of, except those baton sticks, beating people and abusing people, right? If they were really not brainwashed, these the state security, the police, the military, they should be actually on the people's side, right? That's what I think. They should be actually on the people's side. But the problem now is the top of the, the police or the army or the security service, those at the top, those are the ones who are only benefiting. But the ones like at the bottom, buttons, they don't even, benefit anything at all. But I don't know what kind of brainwash they are given when they are being trained. I really don't know. But they should be on the side of the people. So if we move in this direction where there is not even any rights for the citizens, there is not even any respect for the rule of law or any fundamental, what we call fundamental human rights, worldwide, then possibly we are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere, right? If you have any point or contribution, please feel free to post a comment or just click the link that I've put in the comment section. Then we can have your contributions. You can actually contribute so that we know at least what we think now about the current events that are happening in Zimbabwe. We won't be surprised tomorrow there will be more arrests, because this is what ZANU-PF is good at. They will always arrest people. You see, they will always arrest people. So you might be expecting more arrests and the more trumped up charges, from this regime. Because what pains me most is that when these trumped up charges are taken to court, and they don't hold any water. The allegations, they are just the spurious allegations that are leveled against the people and are innocent. So why on earth would they waste state resources? Because this is your taxpayers' money that's paying these judges, right? That's maintaining these buildings. It's taxpayers' money. So why would they bring a useless case to court, wasting the resources? You see, because these policemen, they need to be paid. These magistrates, they need to be paid, and they're being paid from your own pocket. The citizens who are already struggling, you see. So it doesn't really make sense, because before they go and arrest someone with their so-called search warrants, they should know what it entails. They should know the sections of the law that gives them powers or that don't give them powers to do such things. But it looks like this, this arrest, they are just given orders to say, go and raid so and so, take him, produce this search warrant. Like the frivolous accusations, any meaning, So it's really said it's more like a police state or a military state, because I think the people of Zimbabwe, they've suffered enough under this regime. They've really suffered enough under this regime, because it's been a long time. It's been a long time, right? There's another comment from Promise, which says that one day there will be history, and let me assure you, Imima Kabamari will be coming for you. That's a comment from my brother Promise, to say that and because these people, most of them, some of them, right, if not accused of financial theft or misrepresentations, most of them, right, they can actually qualify to go to The Hague, to the ICC in Netherlands, The Hague, because of war crimes, of human rights crimes. Because we are talking of Kukura Wundi as well. We are talking of the June 2008, massacres. We are talking of so many other human rights abuses that happened before, and most of them, they would qualify to go to the ICC, to the International Criminal Court, The Hague, and be charged like with war crimes, because what they are doing, it's something very, very terrible. Sorry, my sister Promise. sorry. Actually, Promise, is our sister. Sorry about that. I thought most names like Promise, they are Muslim male names. I'm really sorry about that. So as I was saying that these guys, most of them, they do qualify for the Hague, the International Criminal Court. And these people, right, when they are committing these crimes, I don't know why they think that they will be there forever. I don't know why they think they'll be there forever. If you look like at the case of al-Bashir, the president of Sudan, and now right now he's in, no, I think he's in prison. He's being charged, but at one time he thought that things will be the same, like they'll be the same forever. You see, so it's really amazing how they think that they'll be there forever. But even the time of Robert Mugabe, people were shunguruza on Mugabe, but look, he is now the late. You see, so never would they think that one day they will not be there. Right? There is another comment from Jukwas, right? Anzi na Jukwas here zanu yashungurudza vanhu. That's very true, Jukwas. That's very true. I don't know if you are the same Baba Jukwa. I remember a few years ago there was Baba Jukwa who used to produce all this, the list of corrupt activities, like the farms and all these things, and guess what happened? They started panicking and arresting people, thinking everyone is Baba Jukwa. All right, so Anzana Jukwa's here, Zanu yashungurudza vanhu. That's very true. Because people are struggling back home. They are really struggling. People are ill. They cannot get access to proper medical care. They cannot get access to water, clean water. They cannot get access to housing. They cannot get access to proper food. But these guys, they are buying this Range Rover. I am a 4x4, I am a Discovery, my Chichi. And those cars, they are made here. The main plant is here in Birmingham. That's where they are made. And but they find money to buy those expensive vehicles, yet ignoring the plight of the people who are supposed to be, they should look after the people. They should look after the people. Right, there's another comment from my sister Promise, and even Vafa will be coming for their children, Tichaitora Mind, and there will be proper distribution of land. Promise, I think that's one of the main wishes of all progressive minded Zimbabweans, to say that what, there should be proper distribution of land, there should be proper distribution of wealth. Can you imagine that time when the president, the so-called president, when he was hiring that jetliner, cost us $74,000 an hour, right? Just to hire that jet, $74,000 an hour. How much money, and from what I gather, I think he spent about $6 million per each charter that very expensive flight, you see. But then that's, the way these guys are greedy, it's very, very serious. Here in the West here, you don't see a very large motorcade. You don't see a very large number of security details. They just do it simple. We can even see the prime minister riding a bike. But is that possible in Zim or in Africa, in some of the African states? It's not possible, because these people, they are just greedy. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the citizens. They don't care about the human rights, because each and every Zimbabwean, I understand that they want proper distribution of land, proper distribution of wealth, proper distribution of everything. They want jobs. They want the prospects of a better life. But unfortunately, with this current administration, it's not something that's forthcoming. but we will see what will be happening. We'll see what will be happening. So this was just a short discussions on these issues, especially the arrest of the prominent people back home in Zimbabwe, and the allegations being leveled against them, you see, which is something that's being done on a daily basis. And unless and until people say something or do something about this, I'm telling you, this regime will always be there till I don't know when. You see, till I don't know when. And there are reckless utterances to say that the July 31st demonstration will not go ahead. They know that they are going to kill people. They know that they are going to shoot people using the army, using the police, using the state security services. And I don't know why they are turning a blind eye to corruption by arresting people who are innocent. You see this guy on the right, this man called Obadiah Mpho. He's on the list of those looters. He benefited from that. I think it was 131,000 US dollars that he benefited from the RBZ, and he has never paid a dime back to the central bank. And what's surprising is how on earth would they go to the RBZ, to the central bank, yet there are other banks who could have given them loans, because obviously they knew that it was just a free gift. It was just a free gift. They were not going to pay anything back once they get it. So if you look at the list, there are so many of them, and most of them, they've got farms. We should have like an overflowing production, of grain, crops and everything. The country wouldn't be buying maize from other countries, because the land is there. So these guys, they won't stop at nothing to to arrest people and abuse people, right? That one is from the current mayor of Harare, who we understand at the moment is in custody because his bail hearing did not go through, and I understand that he'll be back tomorrow in court, and they will decide whether to grant him bail or not. But from our sources, it actually says that the prosecutors, they are inclining to oppose bail, to grant bail to Herbert Komba, who is the mayor of Harare, who was arrested in a so-called land scandal, which involved housing corporation called Taringan Housing Scheme. So these are just allegations, not yet been proven whether it really happened or not. These are just the charges that he's being charged with, and as soon as we get more information, we'll be updating you as we go on. And we just hope that these guys, they will get justice and get a fair hearing on their application for bail. And with regards to Jacob Ngari Vume, because he's the one who called the 31st July process, they've actually remanded him to August the 6th, because obviously they don't want the protest to go ahead, and they've just made sure that they will they'll keep him in custody until at least 31st of July. Then so August 6th, it's like about 2 weeks, 2 weeks in custody, 2 weeks in custody. And you can see how ruthless this regime is, how ruthless they are. They don't really care. They don't really care about anyone. They don't really care at all. So as I said, probably we'll see more arrests excuse me, on trumped up charges. We don't know, because this regime is capable of anything. right? This regime is capable of anything. So we'll just wait and see. If you want to say anything, because I think will be ending this discussion very soon. If you want to say anything, you are free to say that in the next probably 10 minutes or so. So as we discuss whether this this kind of ours is now a military state or a police state, because these arbitrary arrests without any proper justification, they are going on and on, and they will still go on, I think. Right. Right, there's another comment from my sister Promise. She says that Obadiah was protected when he went to court, but people who oppose them, they get abused. Yeah, so this is very true, right? As we can see that Obadiah Moyo is one of the beneficiaries of the RBZ scheme, right? I'll put his picture there. He was protected when he went to court, but as we have seen time and again, these arrests of these prominent people, of these politicians, they won't do anything. Nothing will be done, because ZAC itself is actually compromised, because the people, or the the people who are in the top positions in ZAC, some of them, they actually benefited from this RBZ looting scheme. They actually benefited. So when they arrest these kind of people, it will be just a front, it will be just a show, but nothing actually will be happening to them, because if you look like the people like Priska Mfumira, who was alleged to have misused 95 million pounds, I think through NASA, and some kind of shenanigans with someone who was in South Africa and stuff like that. Nothing was really done. It's just on paper that they will say, oh, we're going to arrest them, but as soon as the noise died down, then they will just release those people. Talk about Ignatius Chombo, who was actually found with 10 million US dollars when the coup happened. You see, these are the people in top positions, and they are on a looting spree, and you will see that they won't be arrested or anything. But the people who are honest, people who are exposing this corruption, they are the ones who are being arrested. And corruption is bad. We don't want corruption. If someone is accused of corruption, if they're in government, they actually should be prosecuted. They actually should resign with immediate effect. You see, so the current state of affairs in Zimbabwe is actually heartbreaking, and I don't know where we are going as a nation and how things will turn out, unless and until the citizens do something about it. The current state of affairs will still remain the same, where we will see abductions probably on a regular basis, where we will see the abuse of people by the state, by the police, by the military, and by the security services. This will go on and on and on. And these guys, they are operating like a mafia style organization, where they are trying to be ruthless. Yes, we understand that most of them, even the current administrator of Zimbabwe, he was probably trained in North Korea, where this, as we know, North Korea is a rogue regime. Those are kind of rogue states like North Korea, Russia, and other countries. So, what they've learned there, they are applying to the people of Zimbabwe. And it's really heartbreaking to have such people in power, because they won't listen to anyone. I'm going to read a comment from Sly Mkanya. He said they arrested the guy who exposed a crime and released the looter. It's ZANU-PF for you. So this is the current state of affairs from time and again, where someone who exposes a crime will be arrested and charged, trumped up charges, because they are acting with impunity. They don't have any accountability to anyone. It's like it's their own private property that they are, they are using to do whatever they want without any regard to the feelings of the nation, to the feelings of the people, or to the rights of the people. At least they collect these taxes from. Remember, because it's your money, they're using the state resources, and you are not benefiting anything at all. Your children are going to suffer. Your children are going to have nothing to show for because of these shenanigans by these people, by these thieves. You see, so unless and until is people of Zimbabwe do something, then this will be the status quo, because these guys will not stop at this. And as we have highlighted yesterday, it also includes the men of the cloth like Bishop Nehemiah Mtindi, who actually benefited to the tune of at least close to $600,000, $600,000. Then also the likes of Ezekiel Guti and Anna Nobet Kunonga. These are all the people who are close to ZANU-PF, and it's like we are now logged. We don't know where to go. If we go to the men of the cloth, they are corrupt. The politicians, they are corrupt. Everyone, wherever way we look, there's always corruption. So it's a very difficult situation. We are like in a, excuse me, kind of a catch-22 situation, and I don't know when this will end, where we are going. Right. I'm gonna add another comment from Sly here. He says, anyway, they are digging their grave deeper by so doing, and they know it, hence they are so scared. Right. If we recall, like the likes of Obet Mpofu, how much he got from this looting scheme, and also his wealth. You can actually see now where how they got it. From what I heard, he owns also quite a lot of properties in Bulawayo and probably a chunk of Victoria Falls. You see, and they don't stop. They won't stop these guys, and they brag about it. Then when they brag about it, so it's like they keep crushing the people. They are making mincemeat out of the people. People are suffering, and they are getting the best treatment. If you imagine, like if they get sick or ill, they get the best medical attention. Yet people, ordinary people, they die on the hospital queues because there's no medication in hospitals. There's no clean running water. These, the roads, they are bad. People are dying on a daily basis of the state of the roads in Zimbabwe, of which all these monies that were looted, if they were directed to the proper development infrastructure of the country, I think we would be at a position where we are in a better position, because at least the basic necessities will be, at least won't be enough, but at least it's something that will make people go by, because because how can you drive in a road full of potholes? Obviously we end up having an accident, and people end up dying. How many people have died because of these narrow roads? The Harare Beit Bridge road, I've driven through that road, and it's terrible. It's terrible. It's full of potholes. If you try to avoid this and that, probably you are going into an oncoming vehicle or something like that. So that's how people are dying. That's how this regime is killing people. It's very, very sad. Look at the hospitals. People, they die on queues waiting to be seen, but they are waiting to be seen by the nurses who are on strike, by the doctors who are on strike. You see, so it's a very, very difficult situation, the way this country is being run by these greedy people. They really don't care, because no matter how hard or how loud you say it just falls on deaf ears. Not to say that they cannot do anything about it. They can do something about it, but their first priority is to loot and fatten their, align their pockets, with everything. Because I'm sure some of them here, they've got like offshore accounts, like, in Swiss banks or even in Jersey here, or, somewhere. That loot that they got from the RBZ is somewhere in probably foreign accounts, and they are living comfortably, while the rest of the citizens, they are going hungry. So for the people, for these greedy people to maintain power, what they will do is that they will keep arresting innocent people and bringing up these trumped up charges where, they will take you to court, waste the country's resources, waste your taxpayers' resources. We should be doing something else productive on behalf of the citizens, you see. But they are doing it the other way, and they are targeting of the opposition. It doesn't leave anyone. You see, it doesn't leave anyone. From what we understand, Jacob Mugabe, is a leader of an opposition party, Transform Zimbabwe, right? But what I've realized that is government, they don't want any kind of opposition. Remember the days of Edgar Tekere, where he was um, where he was victimized as well, you see. So it's not something new, it's something that's been going on for a time. But the main question is, when will this end? That's the main question that's on everyone's lips, to say, when will this end? Because, mind you, the people who are in the diaspora, most of us, we don't want to be here. We want to be back home. We want to be rebuilding the country. We want to be doing something positive for the country. But we cannot do that because of the current state of affairs, right? Can you imagine now, you say something about corruption or about the human rights abuses, you end up being arrested, you see. So what we are saying here is, our aim or our wish is our country to be better, by our collective effort, to say, okay, this is the way things are standing at the moment, but what can we do now to make things better? Because I'm telling you, these guys, they will not just give in like that. They will just not hand over power like that. They will fight tooth and nail with every span, with every bolt, with anything, so that they will remain in power. Because you can see from these reckless utterances by Chris Mutsvangwa to say that, they are accusing the organizers of the demonstration of planning to remove the government unconstitutionally. So it actually means that that statement is a strong statement, which means that the army, the police, the state security services, they are actually on standby to deal with any demonstrations, because to them, they don't see the citizens' rights. To them, they see people who are trying to remove the government constitutionally. But what people are saying, they're saying, look, we don't want violence. We don't want people to be killed. We just want to protest. We just want you to change your policies and make policies that benefit each and every Zimbabwean, so that people, they can lead a better life. You see, that's just what people want. Because no one wants war. No one wants a bloodshed. You see, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's dehumanizing. It's stressful, to say the least. You see, but unfortunately, we are dealing with a rogue regime that doesn't really care about the feelings of the people, about what people want. They are only there to benefit themselves. So, as I said, that what we'll do is, we'll keep on giving you updates with regards to the current affairs in Zimbabwe, and we'll see tomorrow what will be happening. But at the moment, we would like to thank everyone who joined in tonight, and who contributed, so that at least you know what the current position of the things are in Zimbabwe as they happen. And we would like to wish you a very good night, and please stay safe. One thing that I would want to mention is, before we call it a day, is because COVID cases are on the rise, please stay safe. make sure you observe social distancing rules, because this coronavirus is very, very serious. Don't take it lightly, because people are dying. And as we can see, I think in Africa, I think there are about 750,000 cases as we speak, and the cases, they continue to rise. So please make sure that if you have your mask, use it wisely. If you don't have it, you have to probably buy one. And if just be conscious of where you go. Probably avoid like certain crowded places, and just stay safe, because we want people to be healthy. We don't want to add another crisis on top of another crisis. We are already in a situation whereby we feel being oppressed, but if you add COVID on top, the situation gets even really hard, because we end up infecting the whole families and our dear friends and families. And as I said, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll end the broadcast now, then we'll be in touch with you. And thank you everyone who contributed, and thank you everyone. If you have anything to say, you can still send us through our inbox, or if you have any story or anything that you think we should know of, please just inbox us, then we'll be able to contact you. And thank you. Good night. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm just gonna end this broadcast now, and have a good night.